This one truth will change how you see your life forever, because one choice creates your entire path. If you're looking for motivation, wisdom, and life lessons, take the path of purpose.
What are my responsibilities as a citizen? Being a citizen is more than just living in a country or holding a passport. It is a role that comes with great responsibility. Throughout history, societies have flourished or fallen based on the willingness of their people to uphold their duties as citizens. The truth is, the strength of any nation, community, or civilization is not built by leaders alone, but by the collective actions of its people. If we want to live in a just, prosperous, and stable society, we must first ask ourselves, what are my responsibilities as a citizen? History has shown us that the success of civilizations depends on the active participation of their citizens. The ancient Greeks introduced democracy, a system where every citizen had a voice in governance. But democracy was not just a right, it was a duty. Citizens were expected to participate in decision-making, contribute to public debates, and take responsibility for the well-being of their city-states. In Rome, the concept of civitas, the rights and duties of citizenship, was fundamental to the empire's stability. Roman citizens not only benefited from legal protections, but were also expected to serve in the military, pay taxes, and contribute to the community. Fast forward to more recent history, and we see the same principles at work. The founding fathers of the United States emphasized that democracy could only survive if citizens remained informed, engaged, and willing to hold their leaders accountable. Abraham Lincoln famously described democracy as government of the people, by the people, for the people. That phrase reminds us that citizenship is not passive. It requires action, involvement, and a sense of responsibility. One of the most fundamental responsibilities of a citizen is participation in governance. Voting is not just a right, it is a duty. It is the mechanism by which we choose leaders, shape policies, and influence the direction of our communities and nations. History is full of examples where the power of the vote changed the course of nations. The civil rights movement in the United States fought for the right of Black Americans to vote, understanding that without political participation, real change would be impossible. Women's suffrage movements across the world, from the United Kingdom to New Zealand to the United States, were driven by the belief that every citizen must have a say in shaping their future. When we fail to vote, we allow others to decide our future for us. Apathy is the enemy of progress, but participation goes beyond just voting. A responsible citizen stays informed. The spread of misinformation has always been a danger to society. The rise of propaganda during World War II, the use of fake news to manipulate public opinion, and the deliberate distortion of facts by corrupt regimes all show us why critical thinking is essential. Informed citizens can distinguish truth from lies, demand accountability from leaders, and make decisions based on facts rather than fear or manipulation. Education is not just for personal advancement, it is a tool that strengthens democracy and ensures the survival of freedom. Another key responsibility is upholding the rule of law. Throughout history, civilizations that respected laws thrived, while those that ignored them collapsed into chaos. Laws exist to protect our rights and freedoms, but they only work if citizens respect and uphold them. This means obeying laws, but also holding those in power accountable when they abuse them. The Nuremberg trials after World War II showed that just following orders is not an excuse for violating justice. Every citizen has a moral duty to stand against corruption, discrimination, and oppression. The civil rights activists who sat at segregated lunch counters in the 1960s, the whistleblowers who exposed government misconduct, and the journalists who risked their lives to report the truth, all demonstrate that responsible citizens do not turn a blind eye to injustice. Economic contribution is another crucial responsibility. Paying taxes is not just a financial obligation. It is a way of supporting the infrastructure that allows societies to function. Roads, schools, hospitals, emergency services are all funded by taxpayers. When citizens evade taxes, they weaken the very foundation of their communities. In ancient civilizations, such as Mesopotamia and Egypt, tax contributions helped build great cities, irrigation systems, and public institutions. Today, they continue to fund the progress of nations. A responsible citizen does not seek to take advantage of the system, but ensures they contribute their fair share. Serving the community is also a vital responsibility. Societies thrive when people look beyond their own needs and help those around them. Volunteering, mentoring, and assisting those in need creates stronger, more resilient communities. Think of the countless doctors and nurses who work in disaster zones, the teachers who dedicate their lives to educating the next generation, or the activists who fight for human rights. Their contributions remind us that responsibility is not just about what we owe to the government, but what we owe to each other. The global response to the COVID-19 pandemic showed us the power of collective action when citizens took responsibility by following safety guidelines, supporting frontline workers, and looking out for their neighbors. Lives were saved. Another responsibility of a citizen is environmental stewardship. Our planet is not just a resource for exploitation. It is our home, and it is our duty to protect it. The Industrial Revolution brought incredible advancements, but also led to pollution, deforestation, and climate change. Today, we face environmental crises that demand action. Indigenous cultures have long understood the importance of living in harmony with nature. The Iroquois Confederacy's principle of 7 generations teaches that decisions should be made with the well-being of future generations in mind. If we want a habitable planet for our children, we must act now. Respect for diversity and unity is another essential responsibility. Societies that embrace inclusivity and cooperation prosper, while those that foster division and hatred weaken. History has shown the dangers of intolerance as slavery, apartheid, genocide, and war have all stemmed from a failure to respect human dignity. On the other hand, nations that have embraced diversity, such as the United States, a country built by immigrants, have benefited from innovation, cultural richness, and economic strength. A responsible citizen promotes unity, rejects discrimination, and works to build bridges between people of different backgrounds. Moral leadership is also a responsibility that every citizen should embrace. Leadership is not about holding office. It is about setting an example in our daily lives, being honest, standing up for the truth, and acting with integrity influence those around us. Think of Mahatma Gandhi, whose philosophy of nonviolence changed the course of history, or Nelson Mandela, who chose reconciliation over revenge after decades of imprisonment. These individuals showed that leadership is not about power, it is about responsibility. If we want to see a better society, we must embody the values we wish to see in the world. Finally, One of the greatest responsibilities of a citizen is to leave a legacy of service and kindness. Societies are remembered not just for their achievements, but for how they treated one another. History remembers the heroes who sacrificed for others, the movements that fought for justice, and the individuals who chose love over hate. We have a responsibility to teach future generations the values of compassion, courage, and civic duty. When we inspire others to contribute, we ensure that the cycle of progress continues. So, what are our responsibilities as citizens? To participate in governance, to stay informed, to uphold the rule of law, to contribute economically, to serve our communities, to protect our environment, to respect diversity and promote unity, to lead with integrity, to leave behind a legacy of kindness. These are not just abstract ideals. They are actions that shape the world. History has shown us that great societies are built by those who take responsibility, and they crumble when people become indifferent. The question is not whether we have the power to make a difference. The question is whether we are willing to do our part. Will we be passive observers, or will we be active citizens? Will we take responsibility for our future, or will we leave it in the hands of others? The answer to that question determines the fate of our communities, our nations, and our world. The choice is ours. Let us rise to the challenge and fulfill our duties as responsible citizens.